Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium. We are here for our second match in today's doubleheader. It is a major match between Taguig FC and Aguilas Umak FC. This is the final match of our weekend here in the 2025 to 2026 PFL. What an exciting match this one is.
Definitely going to be a great match at hand. Great weather as well for football this Sunday night. It did rain earlier today before our first game between Kaya FC Iloilo and Valenzuela PB Mendiola, wherein Kaya took that win 8-0 against Valenzuela PB Mendiola. But in just a few minutes, it's going to be a big match between Taguig FC and Umak Aguilas FC.
Here we see the league table, which is beginning to form after 3 match weeks. Here's the home team in Taguig FC. They won last week. It was a big statement win over Cebu FC. They scored first and got the 2-0 lead before conceding a very late one. And yeah, what a statement win that was for a team that didn't have a lot of noise going into the season until just a few days before their opening matchup. But despite that, they got that win over Cebu. It was a goal from Aldeguer and a goal from Reichelt, which sealed the deal. What a start to their season that was for them.
And it's definitely a great way to reintroduce yourself to the PFL 2025-2026 season. On your screen, of course, you will be able to see all the games that Taguig will be playing. But to go against a big team like a dynamic Herb Cebu and secure the win on their first matchup, as you said, their preparation hasn't been as long as the other teams as compared to Cebu. But they played it on the field where it matters most, and they got the win. They started in flying colors, great cohesion within that whole team, and eventually got those 2 goals and got them the first win. Now it's to check if that was just a fluke or if they can carry on that good momentum coming into this second game. So we take a look at the starting 11 for Taguig FC. The new signing, goalkeeper Kupik, the back line of Sato, Halm, Custodio, and Bias. Omas, the holding midfielder, Hiraishi on the left, Aldeguer on the right, attacking midfielders in Casemiro and Agyamang, and up on top will be Reichelt.
Yeah, definitely a lot of players to watch, but one of those players is team captain Daisuke Sato, who will be going against his former team. So there's that extra bit of motivation if you're Daisuke Sato. There's actually a lot of reunions, I should say, tonight because Sato, along with Oma, his teammate, will be going against their former clubs. And on the other side naman, there's also similar stories. But Daisuke Sato, what a performance last week. A captain's performance to help seal the 3 points against Cebu. Definitely a familiar figure to many Filipino football fans. He is a stalwart player in Taguig, and he has so many caps also for the Philippine men's national team. So it's no surprise that he is one of the crucial players of Taguig. Now we will hear also from Coach Scott Cooper, who made the winning start against Cebu last week.
Second game for us. We picked up 3 points in the first game. We were a little late starting pre-season, so we were a little bit rusty. So hopefully we see some improvements in tonight's game. Playing against a good team, a good coach that lost narrowly to Kaya. So it'll be a good test for us. So let's hopefully it's a good game.
There you have it. It's Coach Scott Cooper, who is a very familiar figure also to many fans here in the Philippines because he was the coach of the senior and also youth national teams at many points throughout his career. But he's also a familiar coach throughout the rest of Southeast Asia. He coached in Thailand, and I believe most recently, before coming back to the Philippines, he coached in India. What an appointment he is, Natasha.
Definitely, and he's a coach that knows how to use his players very well and get the most of them, whether they're old or they're the new, young, and up and coming. And that's exactly what he was able to do so quickly, despite what he said, which was a late preseason. They were still able to get the maximum number of points in their opening fixture.
Now here we see the other side, Aguilas Umak FC. They did lose last week, but it was a narrow loss to the defending champions in Kaya FC Iloilo. They only lost 1-0. They need to pick up the points because look at that start they have, Kaya and Taguig. That is a very tough opening 2 fixtures, and you need to get points on the board, especially the way the league is formatted. Every point matters. Aguilas Umak FC will be feeling hard done by the fact that they lost last week, and they'll be saying that they did enough to at least secure a draw. One of the players to watch for Aguilas Umak is one of their new signings, and they've made a lot, is Nathaniel Hancock from Australia. He impressed last week against Kaya, as we see their starting 11. A lot of new signings, but there is holdover Cart Talarok, and I believe he's one of two holdovers from the previous management. There we also see Arnel Amita, who will be captaining Aguilas Umac FC against his former side. So a very exciting showdown, this one.
Yes, for one, they have that 4-1-4-1 formation for Aguilas Umac FC. They're shaping up in a 4-3-3. And as you have mentioned, Nathan Hancock will play a crucial role for the side of Aguilas Umac FC, especially in that midfield to really help keep possession, to help hold this game together for the side of Aguilas Umac, who are still searching for their first points in this tournament.
Well, like Coach Scott Cooper of Taguig, Aguilas Umac also made a coaching appointment over the window, and that coach is Coach Jorg, who has a few words to say before this match kicks off.
No, our expectation is that we build on our last game. I think everyone, including myself, was quite pleased with our performance throughout the 90 minutes. I think it was a good intensive game from both teams, especially the last 10 minutes. We pushed Kaya quite in their own half, so we kept trying. So today I expect that we build on that. That we increase our intensity, that we have individually have potentially better actions. But overall, the last game performance was good, so we hope to build on that one.
Well, there you saw it. Coach York impressed with this team's performance despite the loss, and I think that was the general consensus among all the Filipino football fans because they performed okay against a team that is going for the four-peat. Again, please tune in to this matchup. You can tune in on the Facebook page or on the YouTube page here for all the games across the PFL. Again, we'll also have midweek quality content for you guys. There's not just games, but we also have the Minsan Football Show on every Wednesday when there's a game on the weekend.
So after the game days, minsan kulang pa yun eh. You need to unpack what happened within the week. So of course, stay tuned for that Minsan Football Show as we give you just additional content as we continue to build up, of course, the hashtag WeArePFL, and we encourage everyone to stay lively, show your support right either at Rizal Memorial Stadium or online as well, and help us bring back the community all together here for the Philippine Football League.
And we'll be right back after the teams march out. Here we see the two team captains of Taguig FC and Aguilas Umak FC together for the coin toss. And get this, they are both playing against their former side. So there's definitely an extra bit of motivation for these two captains who are familiar with each other and they've played against each other also so many times already. Daisuke Sato and Arnel Amita.
The referee for this match, John Mick Basinang. The assistant referees, Paul Galicia and Brian Buergo. Fourth official, Michael Barajas. Referee assessor, Gerardo Andres. And the match commissioner, Cristina Ramos. And as you mentioned, it is pretty ironic because not so long ago, they used to captain the opposite team. Amita used to be the captain of Taguig, and Sato used to be the captain of back then when it was called Davao Aguilas.
Yeah, handshake from the two captains, but I have a feeling when the game starts, all of that will go out of the window. And I must say also, this is going to be a nice rivalry, and also because I think it's also a rivalry for the best kids so far in the PFL, I must say.
That's true. They do have some nice kits for both Taguig and Aguilas Umak FC. As we mentioned, shaping up in that 4-1-4-1 formation. Two changes for the side of Scott Cooper with Hiraishi and Kupik getting the start, while for Aguilas Umak FC 4-3-3, two changes as well. The likes of Malik and Mozinho, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the pronunciation, get the start today. Two players who are also national team players for Timor-Leste.
And we see the benches for both sides. There's a lot of firepower from the two dugouts. Do not be surprised if we even see goals from that two bench, but they will definitely be using those benches tonight. As we approach kickoff, it will be Taguig FC with the first possession in their all purple and white shorts. And then on the other hand, it's Aguilas Umak FC with their white jerseys kicking from right to left. Again, Taguig FC getting that, I wouldn't say upset, but it was definitely really a good result for them against a tough opponent over Cebu. Meanwhile, Aguilas Umak lost to Kaya, but it was an impressive performance. There we see the new kickoff that is going and making the rounds in football. It's a tactic borrowed from rugby, but you essentially kick the ball towards the other corner and start the game with a press.
We've seen that in the Premier League, and now we've seen it here at the PFL.
Hiraishi. Again, Hiraishi did say goodbye to Taguig FC, but he is retained for this season. It's a debut and first touch for Kupic of Taguig FC. Last week it was Bandeken, now it's Kupic, and I believe he is also a Serbian under-19 international. So he has a lot of quality in his locker, and he'll be adding that to the Taguig defense. Here's Nathaniel Hancock, one of the impressive performances from last week for Aguilas Umak FC. Bias looking for Aldeguer. Oliver Bias will play as a right back because don't forget last week, Pete Forswell, who started in that position, got sent off at the dying moments against Cebu FC. And so it's Oli Bias as right back tonight. Ooh, physical play there. And the foul is called against Andres Aldeguer, who's saying that he got his shirt pulled actually there by Amarilla.
Aldeguer, one of the players as well to watch out for Taguig FC. A goal and an assist in the first game of the season. Physicality already on a boiling level from the get-go between Taguig and Aguilas Umak.
Definitely a battle to watch out for Amarilla versus Andres Aldeguer. Again, Aldeguer scored last week with a shot that took a deflection from outside the area, but he also got an assist last week, so he started the season very well. Starting the season very well. Speaking of that, there's Reichelt with the ball. He is called offside, but he did perform to such a high level last week, getting a goal.
And Reichelt just being called because he was coming from an offside position when he did get that touch to the ball. And as you said, Taguig now really just trying to continue on that momentum that they got from that first game wherein they beat Cebu 2-1. And for Aguilas Umak, they want to build on from the last 10 minutes that they had to increase that intensity. It's not an easy task going against the defending champions for your opening match with a revamped squad. You've mentioned it maybe 2 to 3 times, only three player like that are the left holders from last season. So a total shake-up of personnel for Aguilas Umak FC, whether it comes to the coaching staff or to the players.
Yeah, Aguilas Umak FC now in their fifth PFL/UFL season. They have a squad average age of 24.5, which is very young, almost like a university team. They did finish sixth place last season, 6 points adrift of the top four, and that was enough for them to press the reset button, and that's why they've made so many changes, both on and off the field.
For the side of One Taguig, they did finish third last season. They're gonna want to build up from that and to break into the top two. So you all know the top two who finish at the end of the league do get international exposure. Whether it's the AFC Champions League 2, the AFC Challenge League, or within the Shopee Cup as well. So there's so much to play for, not just pride, not just the championship trophy, but for international exposure as well.
Of course, these are two teams that want to get on that international stage but haven't yet done so, unlike the other PFL rivals of these two teams. Here's Hiraishi down the left. Works the cross, but that's straight to the goalkeeper after a header from Bongolan.
Bongolan, of course, a player that has played for UP, ADT, and even for a short stint with Manila Digger, now making his way with Aguilas Umak FC. Second game, second start.
And if you are a fan of either side, you do want your team to make a good start because both of these teams have very difficult fixtures to open their PFL season. For Aguilas Umac, they played Kaya, then they're now playing One Taguig. And then for One Taguig, on the other hand, they played Cebu last week. They're playing Aguilas now. And their next game is actually against Manila Deer. So that's a very tough start if you're One Taguig. So you definitely need to build momentum as early as possible in this league. Here's an early free kick in favor of One Taguig. They'll send forward all of their center backs and tall players. It will be Oli Bias to take, and Oli Bias also ended the season last season with 5 assists and also got 1 assist in the opening day last week. He'll be taking this free kick. It will be an in-swinger in towards the penalty area. It's met by Custodio, and I think it was Bongolan jumping with him. Custodio, in the end, does enough to win a corner. The first corner kick of this match, 5 minutes into it.
That was really good defending as well from Aguilas Umak, because the gig did get the first head to it. They needed to block that way before it could even go towards that goal frame.
So Oma to take this against his former side. Outswinger. Again, good defending from Aguilas Umac. It's retrieved by Patrick Reichelt. Offside is called against Reichelt. So Aguilas Umac FC passed their first test after the first two set pieces.
As we all know, Aguilas Umak FC, they are known for being a team that's very hard to score against. You never hear games against them wherein it's big margin matchups or scoring 5 goals, 6 goals. So they're very neat and tidy at the back. And it's definitely going to be tested against the attacking threat of One Taguig FC, who are very good in creating chances up on top.
Yeah, it will definitely be a good test for Hancock and Amarilla to test their new partnership, especially against the movement of a certain Patrick Reichelt. And not just Patrick Reichelt, but we also see a Gemang who performed well last week. He will also test that Aguilas backline.
As you all know, Patrick Reichelt has 93 appearances for the national team.
Yes, also the second top goal scorer for the national team. Here's Casemiro. Is he fouled? No call from the referee, or he does eventually make that call. It was Casemiro tripped by, looked like Amarilla. That's a little bit of Argentina versus Brazil here in the PFL, and it's a free kick in favor of Fontagui. Here's the replay. He gets to it first. Amarilla just dragging him. Amarilla will make the case that there was not enough contact there, but the referee disagreeing with that point.
have two players shaping up on top of this. It's going to be Oma or Casemiro to test out Shiraoka.
You would think this angle favors the left footer, but don't discount the quality also of Casemiro. He showed that also last week. Aldeguer and Reichelt trying to block the view of goalkeeper Shiraoka. Oma goes for the far corner. Good hands from Shiraoka. And he'll try to launch a counter-attack, but that's going to be met by Olibias.
Gotta love that curve in the shot from Oma. But Shiraoka definitely had that covered.
Here come Aguilas. Can they escape the press? They do. Here comes Bongolan. Tracked by Aldeguer. Aldeguer using his pace. Muzinho looking for the diagonal. Muzinho, again, as mentioned earlier, an international for Timor-Leste. That's handball. And it's a free kick to Taguig FC. They take it quickly. Here's Hiraishi. This game beginning to pick up the pace a little. Hiraishi slows it down again. Stephen Hum. Speaking of good debuts, Stephen Hum made an impressive defensive display last week. Switch will look for Aldeguer. Will it get to him? Aldeguer unable to control that. Again, this is a slightly wet surface. It did rain earlier. Might affect some of the plays.
Stephen Hom, of course, former player for Stallion Laguna. Played with them last season. And now imprinting his mark for Taguig FC as the center back.
Agiemang combining with Bias Casemiro now. It's a bit tight in there. Sato combining with Hiraishi, the Japanese influence there. Agiemang, I think that was a cross, but no one able to connect with that. So it's another goal kick to Aguilas Umak. Good start if you're Taguig, Natasha.
Definitely, you could see they're slowly building up their chances in the attacking third. No chance so far that really tested Shiraoka. But they did get a corner, they did get a set piece, and from open play, finding themselves on the attacking third more often than not.
An intense start here, 10 minutes into this matchup. Again, I'm your commentator, Diego Cordero, and alongside me is Natasha Alquiros Dato. We will be here for this matchup. The referee just ordering the restart of that free kick.
And this match, of course, is gonna close out our epic PFL weekend. Yesterday, Tuloy beat Don Bosco Garelli 3-0. And then Cebu took the win against Stallion 1-0. And that three-match Saturday ended with Manila Digger with a big win 3-2 versus Maharlika. Earlier today, we saw the defending champions Kaya FC Iloilo battle it out with Valenzuela PB Mendiola, wherein Kaya FC with a dominant 8-0 victory.
Here's Amita in an advanced position. Amita, will he work the cross? He does. It's deflected. And it bounces dangerously in front of goal before Kupic eventually gathered a chance there for Aguilas.
First chance we've seen from Aguilas Umak FC, and it was dangerous right away.
Neither side really able to advance into the driver's seat just yet. It's bouncing in between both teams, and possession still not settled for either side. Bias to Custodio, the pass a bit behind him. Kupic.
And we did mention, even though Taguig are technically still a new squad in the PFL, we already expect so much from them, especially with their signings, with their head coach. They did finish third last season, and they're going to be wanting to build up from there to really end up in the top 6.
And as you mentioned, they did finish third last season, so that was enough to qualify them into the final series. But unfortunately for them, they were unable to get past that hurdle. Amita being brought down, referee not calling any foul. Here's Custodio looking for Aldeguer in behind. That might be a little bit too much for Aldeguer though. Physical battles all over the place here in the opening exchanges of this match.
That was a closer look at Custodio. Played for De La Salle University, ADT, and back then United City. Also had a short stint with the U19 national team.
Interesting to see the tactical battles in these opening exchanges. Again, it's Coach Jorg versus Coach Scott Cooper. Those are two very well-traveled coaches. They've been all over the world. Coach Jorg, in fact, has actually been all over Southeast Asia like Scott Cooper. So they've had similar journeys, and they're meeting here in the PFL. There was a foul on Isaac Agemang on the edge of the penalty area. That's another set piece in favor of one Taguig. There's been a number of that already in the opening 15 minutes or so. And if you're Aguilas Umak, you might want to be more careful giving away these amount of set pieces early on, especially if you have opponents with the quality of Casemiro and Sooma delivering the ball in.
That's right, set piece opportunities definitely piling up for the side of one Taguig. They've been feisty from the beginning. Aguilas Umak giving away those fouls just right outside the box. Let's see if one Taguig can take advantage of this golden opportunity.
It's Casemiro and Sooma standing over the ball to add that uncertainty. There's a right-footed and left-footed option. You do say, though, that this angle might just favor Casemiro slightly. Let's see what happens. Casemiro deflected out for a corner. Could have been much worse for Aguilas Umak after a wicked deflection. Let's see that on replay. In the end, it's a corner, but any deflection from a shot like that could go anywhere.
They've done enough to win themselves a corner kick here.
Referee just making sure that there's no extra pushing and shoving in the penalty area before the ball is actually in play. It will be Sooma to put this one in the danger area. Out swinger from his left foot. Ball is sent in. It's met by a Taguig head, and I think the referee called the foul even before there was contact. So Aguilas escaped yet another set piece test. So that's good so far for their backline. I must say they do have a lot of tall players. So it's no surprise that they're strong on these opening set pieces. Ball in behind looking for Muzinho. Over Custodio, but good tracking back from Olibias. Again, Olibias, usually a winger, being tasked as a right back.
And that's definitely something that you want to see from certain players like Olibias, a utility player for the side of one Taguig. Able to slot in different positions if called for. He is a player that has a lot of youth experience with the Germany U15, U16, U17, as well as the men's national team, starting with that U23 and 11 apps already so far. 11 appearances for the men's national team.
I actually have an interesting story about Olibias. He made one appearance for Bundesliga side RB Leipzig, and that was for a Europa League playoff. He came on as a substitute, and he was substituted on for a certain Ibrahima Konate, who is now a Premier League champion for Liverpool. So the footballing world, small and big at the same time. That was a foul, heavy foul. Game's first yellow card. Here at the 17th minute, it's for Amarilla, and that was for the foul on Casemiro. Late challenge, I must say, from the Argentinian.
You have to take a look at this replay again. Yes, definitely a late challenge there from Amarilla. And I think that yellow card was given because it was racking up already. This is his third a bit on the heavy challenge and eventually finds himself in the book.
And here's another set piece for one Taguig FC. These are racking up quite quickly. Only 18 minutes in, but they've already had a handful of these free kicks. Have to be careful if you're Aguilas Umak not to concede too many of these. By the way, there is a player warming up on the Aguilas side. Do wonder if there's any injuries lurking in that 11. Ball is sent in. It's met by Stephen Hom, but he is offside. So nothing would have counted had that gone in. Again, there is a player quite strenuously warming up for Aguilas Umak, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Aldeguer and Amita. Oof. Bounces off Amita. He carries on like nothing happened. Here's Mozinho, Timor-Leste international. Unable to get past. Here's Reichelt. Attempted a back heel, but couldn't connect with it. In possession, just being surrendered back and forth. It's just moved forward. A lot of pushing and shoving going on there actually on the other end between Sato and his opposite winger.
Almost 20 minutes in, and this game has been more on that physical side. No one team really dominating possession. It's been back-to-back for both sides.
Custody looking for Aldeguer. Excellent sliding tackle from Bongolan. And likewise by Olivias to win it back. Quick throw in taken, a bit short. And it will stay with Aguilas. Oh no, rather it will be back to Taguig. Yes, goes all the way home to the goalkeeper. Stephen Halm. Sato inverting from left back. Good play here from Taguig. Hiraishi goes for the diagonal looking for Aldeguer, met by Mugonlan. So it's back once again to Aguilas Umak. Some risky play from Aguilas and surrenders possession once again to Taguig. And is that another foul? No, it's not this time.
That's also really hard for the side of Aguilas Umak. Try to give it short. Try to find the passes directly down onto the midfield. But Taguig FC are so quick on the press, putting on that high press on Aguilas Umak FC.
That's a high foot from Nathaniel Hancock. So once again, yet another set piece to Taguig. This time though, they go quickly. Reichelt. Hiraishi goes for the cross, looking for Aldeguer. It's a bit overhit and it will be out for goal kick. And Aldeguer is 6'2", so he is definitely an aerial target for Taguig FC.
To have such a young player in Aldeguer, but already so much experience to him. Started out with Zobel and with ADT, played for U20, and of course a constant for the U23 national team. You gotta love these young players getting that maximum exposure and experience, whether it's for the league or for international duties when they do play with the national team. And you also have to think that, especially this season with the PFL 2025-2026 season, there are so many good teams. The teams are just racking up, revamping, getting much better, investing more in their players. And it would be only good things for picking up more players for the national team. They don't need to look very far. They can just look in their backyard.
Hiraishi taking on his defender. Cuts inside. Looks for Reichelt. Reichelt left it, but it arrives to Aldeguer. Agiemang. Still Agiemang. And still goes for the cross. Into a dangerous corridor of uncertainty. Eventually it's cleared by Aguilas, but that's good play from Taguig.
Agiemang showing his confidence and capability to take on players 1v1, get away from that press, and so quick with that acceleration, beating the defenders, getting that cutback pass.
Yeah, don't be tricked by his height, because that was some really good agility from him. Casemiro. Sato, inverted. Seems to be a common trend in modern football that you have your fullbacks going infield. It's actually Sato and Diaz in the middle right now. Aldeguer unable to find Agiemang. They start the counter press.
Of course, when you have a tactician in charge with the likes of Scott Cooper, you are incapable of being that much more fluid, not only with your attack, but with your defense as well, to really connect them and help them up on top.
And Coach Scott Cooper has coached at such a high level in Southeast Asia. Obviously, former national team coach of the Philippines, but also coached in the Thai League, where he picked up, I believe he picked up a lot of accolades while he was the Buriram gaffer. And that's a very big team in Asia, so very impressive CV if you're Coach Scott Cooper and if you're Taguig FC. Reichelt nearly threw on goal there, but Hancock, good read of the game.
And one of the good things as well that Scott Cooper brought to the national team was his connections. That at the time that he was the head coach and the assistant head coach for the national team, he was also trying to connect players in the Philippines to play at higher levels abroad.
Yes, I believe he connected some players with opportunities, especially in Thailand and other countries in Southeast Asia. So did help out in that regard also. But he's now here with Taguig FC, and will he be the coach to finally lead them to either an international competition or the PFL title or both? Because they did say in their media content that that is their aim in the end of this season. Ngolan combining with Malik Javier. Crossing opportunity is met by Stephen Halm. Stephen Halm, an imposing figure there at the back, and he actually wins the foul also in the process of clearing that chance. Quietly, actually, a really good signing for Taguig is Stephen Halm. Again, you mentioned he did play for Stallions, so he already has the experience in the PFL. It's a poor giveaway actually for Taguig. Good counter pressing from Oli Bias. Again, that is in his DNA growing up in German football. Aldeguer was offside, so he leaves it for Reichelt, who wins the throw in.
An interesting fact also with Stephen Hall last season, when he did play with Stallion Laguna, he was also one of the assistant coaches for the women's team, so I did get to work with him for quite some time. An all-around great guy.
Actually heard some really nice words about him. Doesn't look like the nicest person, but I've heard that he's actually a really well-spoken guy. Reichelt.
He was very angry with the panel about our predictions in the opening match.
Well, there is Coach Scott Cooper.
And alongside him, Ed Sacapano, former national team player as well. One of the best goalkeeping coaches right now in the Philippines. Alongside, I'd say, Noel Marcaidas, with these two people really just leading the charge in helping goalkeepers reach that next level.
And speaking of Coach Ed Sacapano, my first memory of him, as well, I'll get back to this later. There's a chance maybe for Agiema who goes down. Speaking of Coach Ed Sacapano, my first memory of him actually was when a certain David Beckham came to the Philippines and played against the then Philippine Ascas, and Ed Sacapano was the goalkeeper for the Philippines that day. And Beckham scored the first goal, I believe, of that match. Ended 6-1, I believe, in favor of LA Galaxy. Phil Young Husband scored the lone goal. And speaking of Phil Young Husband, he did play for Aguilas Umak when it was still known as Davao Aguilas. He is actually the last player of that team, or of this team rather, to get more than 10 goals in a single season. So they'll definitely be hoping that that curse is broken by their new signings, such as, I was going to say such as Javier there, but met by Sato.
As you mentioned, in 2017, when they started 8 years ago. So in 2017, they finished 7th. In 2018, they were 3rd in the league. They took that break again, decided to focus on the youth football, eventually finding their way back to the top level. But it has been a shaky start. They finished 4th in 2024, and then in the 2024-2025 season, they finished 6th. But this time around, a complete revamp of the team. And let's see, of course, how far they can go with this set of players.
They seem to reintroduce themselves to Philippine football in that 2023 Copa Paulinho Alcantara run, where they pushed Kaya all the way to the final. And funnily enough, the equalizing goal that evening for Kaya was scored by the captain of Aguilas Umak, Nano Amita. So it's a small world, Philippine football. It's quite scrappy in there. Reichelt was offside, for those of you wondering why he didn't attempt to get that ball. "30 minutes into this one now, neither side able to get ahead so far. There's going to be the second yellow card of this game. Casemiro naman.
And the battle between these two players, the Brazilian and the Argentine. Just that late foot there from Casemiro. Getting that yellow card on that challenge.
I believe the first yellow card of Amarilla was a foul on Casemiro, and
That's why. So the battle between these two players has definitely been heating up in this matchup. You'd hope that it stays at this level, not reaching the full boiling point. As we saw earlier in that match today, an unusual sighting when two players got a red card, one each for Kaya FC Iloilo and one for Valenzuela PB Mendiola.
Aguilas Umak not afraid to go long. I think they might go long again here. Very direct style of play, just playing over the one Taguig press. They pick up the loose ball here, so can they build from it? Choose to go backward for now.
Shiroka just moving up higher the pitch.
Oh, that's a mistake. Here's Reichelt. One Taguig have numbers here. Reichelt has Aldeguer outside. Aldeguer, will he go for the shot? Goes for the cutback. Oh, it's an own goal. How unfortunate for Aguilas Umak FC. That's Clarino, who suffered the own goal. And one Taguig FC, after a quite even battle between the two teams, take the go-ahead goal. Andres Aldeguer, while he didn't get the goal, he will take the most credit for that play. He is the one celebrating on your screen right now, but good play there from Aldeguer.
And one Taguig quickly punishing Aguilas Umak FC for that errant pass. Quick on the transition. Aldeguer trying to give it right behind the back line to Casemiro. Eventually falls directly in the path of Clarino. And look at that. Unlucky for Aguilas Umak FC, but it's valiant effort from the side of Taguig, who are so quick on the counter. They've been pressing Aguilas Umak so well, forcing them to make errors and then pouncing on the errors, turning them into chances. They eventually get the goal.
They're being paid for his unselfishness. I really thought he was going to go for the shot there, but he goes for the pass, and he's paid by a bit of fortune, but it's 1-0 nonetheless. That goal might just open up this game a little bit because there was a lot of 50-50 duels, but a goal changes things because now all of a sudden, Aguilas Umak FC have to fight an uphill battle.
That's also what happens when you give up possession. And that attacking third or the defensive third of Aguilas Umak FC, they catch you on that back end, you're running backwards, facing your own goal. So when Aldeguer gave that pass, Clarino running full speed, and eventually just the ball trickling back into their own goal.
Sato is still down. There was a foul called, but referee played the advantage. Finally, play can stop. Is this going to be another yellow card? We'll see what the referee decides, but it was an advantage played. Oh, there is the yellow card. There you have it. It's to David Coombe. Again, as Natasha was mentioning, it was the build-up play of Aguilas Umak that actually came to their downfall. A poor pass, and Taguig FC were in. Maybe a sign of their lack of time together. Again, these are players that are all newly signed, hence maybe the lack of chemistry with each other. Here we see the grandstand of Rizal Memorial starting to fill up. We do invite everyone watching this to continue to come to the games here at Rizal Memorial Stadium. The games are always on the weekend. Tickets for one day get you access to all the games that day. And we are in a very accessible position. There's a Vito Cruz station right there. So you can take the train, you can take the jeep, accessible for commute. There's a lot of parking also, usually on PFL weekends. So if you do have the free time and want to support local football, come down to the Rizal Memorial Stadium. And if not, you can continue to watch the live streams here on the We Are PFL social media pages. That's underscore We Are PFL underscore. And follow us on all the social media pages, not just Facebook and Instagram, but also X and TikTok, because I believe there are certain plans for content on TikTok.
Yes, so please help us out and follow our TikTok page underscore We Are PFL underscore. Kasi marami ng PFL pages. So please follow that so eventually we can go live on there as well.
Yes,
Try
that's
to
right.
reach, that younger community as well.
Oh, Agiemang, dangerous area, fouled by Amita. And once again, another set piece in a dangerous area for Taguig. It's becoming a common trend now in this game. But as you did mention, yeah, we do plan to go live on TikTok eventually. So do follow the TikTok page of the Philippine Football League. Again, also want to give a shout out to the stalwarts in the fan chat. JP, Calvesef, Fun Rush 617, Daibit, Bacaratos, Martino, and Diniso. I think these are the people that are always present on the stream. So thank you for helping us grow this league. Anyway, to set piece to Olibias, outswinger. Ball sent in. Quite a mess, but I think eventually it's out for goal kick. Just under 10 minutes now before halftime. Aguilas Umak definitely will be displeasure at the way they conceded that goal, because other than that goal, it has been a very 50-50 game.
And so far, even with the attacking chances, the set piece opportunities, corners racked up by Taguig, they haven't really tested out Shiroka. So they'll be disappointed giving away that goal.
Here's Custodio. Sato. That's another foul. And he is already on a yellow card. Itong si David Coombe. So I believe the referee just giving him a little bit of mercy, because you do stuff like that while you're on a yellow card, you are playing with high risk.
Playing with fire. You're
Yeah.
definitely playing with fire there.
Again, David Coombe and Amarilla are the ones on a yellow for Aguilas Umak. So they have to be very careful now with how they spend the rest of this matchup.
And to think first half pa lang.
And we already saw 2 red cards in the same game earlier today. That was to Ano and Raven of Kaya. Set piece there again for Aguilas, or for One Taguig rather, but this time it's out for a goal kick.
Aguilas as well. They haven't found that footing on the attack. Haven't really tested out the new goalkeeper of One Taguig.
That looked like a elbow from Amita. Yellow card. Out of your picture. The One Taguig bench all stood up. I think they wanted more than a yellow card there. It's not ideal if you're Aguilas Umak. You now have 3 players, 3 crucial players, who will have to play the rest of this game on a yellow card.
And those
Here's
are
the
your
replay.
players down the spine.
He wasn't going for the ball, I must say. And Coach Scott Cooper talking to the 4th official. Well, there you see it. The One Taguig bench thought that should have been more than a yellow card. I think the referee disagreeing for now, but
And you're lucky that Amita's arm was pretty low. If it was any higher, that could have been a red. But Amita, you could tell, he was all eyes was looking at Agyamang, not really at the ball. So the intention was to make the challenge with Agyamang.
Aguilas definitely playing risky here because they are playing physical. Oh, that's a mistake from the goalkeeper. Reichelt bailed out by Nathaniel Hancock is the goalkeeper. That's a risky pass from Shirioka straight to Patrick Reichelt, probably the last player you want to give away possession to.
They were lucky that One Taguig weren't able to really turn that into a chance.
Oh, here's Reichelt. Tracked closely by Amarilla. And possession will go all the way back to Kupic, who's not had any saving to do yet so far. So on that, oh, that is a very high boot. Sato is down. No foul was called by the referee. As I was saying, Kupic has not yet been tested by Agi. Oh, Reichelt is through on goal. To double the advantage, Reichelt unselfish, and that's going to be the easiest goal of his career for Isaac Agyemang. Patrick Reichelt, usually known as a goal scorer, turns provider here for Isaac Agyemang, and it's 2-0 to One Taguig FC.
Quality work all around the pitch. Valiant effort from One Taguig FC. Again, taking advantage, pouncing on the mistakes of Aguilas Umak FC, turning them to chances and turning them into goals. Unselfish work from Reichelt, just setting up his teammate to a T. Before Agyemang sends that to the back of an empty net. Great work all around the park for One Taguig FC. They have been the more aggressive side. And for Aguilas Umak FC, you have to wonder, the mistakes really piling up.
Well, all eyes will be on Amarilla there, gifting possession to Reichelt, and Reichelt turning. Oh, it happened again. Oh, this time a foul is called in favor of
And when you look at, of course, the pass of Reichelt, that no-look pass, nonchalant, so smooth. He wins possession, goes one-on-one with the goalkeeper, looks away before he passes it on to Agyemang. He doesn't even wait for Agyemang to find the back of the net. He's already celebrating because he knows that that's definitely going to be a goal.
Well, if you're Amarilla, not the ideal evening. Yellow card and that mistake. Nothing Shiraoka could do to bail him out. By the way, if you're One Taguig FC, you're sending a statement to the rest of the league. Beat Cebu and 2-0 up against Aguilas Umak. Oh, is that a penalty? It is. Lifeline for Aguilas Umak FC. Matthew Custodio with the late challenge. And, well, they haven't had much attacking so far, but all of a sudden, it's now a penalty to Aguilas Umak. Need to see the replay.
Mozinho on the receiving end of that challenge. Was a pass from Bongolan up on top. Oof. And that's definitely a penalty. Mozinho got to the ball first. Custodio tried to clear that ball out. But Mozinho did get the ball first. Custodio got more of the foot rather than the ball. It's a penalty, a lifeline, right at the end of the first half for Aguilas Umak FC to take one back and to turn things around for their side.
Well, after not being involved so far in the first half, Milos Kupic, the Serbian goalkeeper of One Taguig, has to save a penalty if One Taguig want to go into the halftime break 2-0 up. And it's former captain of One Taguig, Arnel Amita, to take the spot kick. What a high pressure moment this is. Let's see who blinks first. Must say Kupic in goal for One Taguig is quite an imposing figure. It's Amita to take. Amita goes for the Panenka, and what a mistake that was. Against his former side, he will not want to see that back. And when you go for the Panenka, and when it doesn't work, oh dear.
Oh, you know people are gonna be pissed.
Well,
Let's see that violent reaction from the bench of Aguilas Umak FC.
oh dear.
Goes for it and doesn't even go in frame, especially when you're down 2-0 at the end, towards the end of that first half. It is crucial to keep you in the game, to try to shift momentum to your side.
Some scuffle going on between here, and in the middle of all of that, we did get confirmation there's going to be 4 minutes of additional time. But my goodness, that would have been not perfect, but an ideal way to go into halftime if you were Aguilas Umak. And for One Taguig and for Matthew Custodio, dodged the bullet there.
Disappointing from Aguilas Umak FC.
Kupic went down, but Aldeguer's in here. Will he work the cross? He wins the corner, and again, as I said, Kupic went down, so all Amita needed to do was to get it on target. But he got too much behind his pass, or his shot rather.
It's going to be a mountain to climb coming into the second half for Aguilas Umak FC. Besides that penalty that was given to them from that foul inside the box, they haven't really done anything on the attack to really test out that One Taguig defense.
Corner sent in. Dangerous. Casemiro. Eventually cleared by Aguilas Umak, but that was another dangerous moment for the back line there. And can they spark a counter-attack actually? Excellent play there from Daisuke Sato.
Well-timed sliding tackle from Daisuke Sato to stop that quick counter-attack from Aguilas Umak FC.
Well, because of that penalty, I still believe that Milos Kupic of One Taguig has still yet to make a really notable or save in general. He hasn't made one yet. We'll confirm if there was a yellow card here. The referee just throwing something on the sideline. I'm not too sure what that was. Sato with the diving header, or that was Sooma rather.
You could feel that extra motivation from from Oma and Sato going against Aguilas Umak FC. It's like that thing with you having something to prove against your former team.
Well, Amita has no choice but to pick himself up after this. And he is the captain, so you expect him to lead by example, but not what you want to see your captain doing, especially in a high pressure situation. Again, we're about to have the halftime, which is about 30 seconds from now.
If you're one to gig, you're definitely gonna take your time before picking this up to secure that advantage coming into that second half. 2 goals to their name already. An own goal and a goal from Agyemang.
And there you have it, halftime whistle from the referee. It is 2-0 to 1 Taguig FC. Goals from, well, the first goal was actually an own goal from Clarinion, and the second one, an easy tap-in for Agyemang. Aguilas Umak FC had the lifeline. They had the chance to have the deficit, but it was Amita there in your picture right now who missed the crucial penalty. And because of that, it's still 2-0 to 1 Taguig FC. Don't go anywhere just yet because we will be back for the second half of this rivalry encounter. Hello, hello. Welcome back here. It's currently halftime between One Taguig FC and Aguilas Umak FC. One Taguig FC going into the halftime break with a 2-0 advantage. The goals, well, one was an own goal from Carino in the 32nd minute, and then 10 minutes later, Agiemang scored an open goal after an assist from Patrick Reichelt following a mistake from Amarilla. But that wasn't all that happened because right before halftime, we had a penalty to Aguilas Umak FC, and it was former One Taguig captain who took it and missed it with a failed Panenka kick. Here we saw the highlights. It was a very scruffy and 50-50 first half, full of duels, full of physicality, and it seemed for a moment like neither side could break the deadlock. But eventually, it was Juan Taguig who started stringing together a few passes. And here's the opening goal. Andres Aldeguer, continuing his fine start to the season, went unselfishly for the cutback, but is rewarded because he forced the own goal on Clarino. Showed good pace to get in behind and look for Casemiro, got rewarded because unfortunately for Clarino, he turned it into his own net. Here is the quad view cam angle presented by Upstream Sports TV. This was the first goal of the match. Then, not long after, it would be doubled by One Taguig FC, who were absolutely ecstatic from that first half. Reichelt bouncing on a loose ball from Amarilla, who tripped, and then the no-look pass to Agiemang to make it 2-0.
Absolutely great work from One Taguig FC. Really just pouncing on the mistakes of Aguilas Umac FC. And here we saw the penalty attempt for Nano Amita. Coach York just disappointed with how that was turned out. One Taguig 63% possession. Aguilas with 37%. 7 shots for One Taguig, 4 on target. 3 corners, 3 offsides, 6 fouls for the side of Aguilas Umac FC. Again, a little lackluster performance from them in that first half all around. Only 1 shot, none on target, despite, again, getting that penalty. But they did give up a lot of fouls, 12 fouls, and racking up 4 yellow cards.
Yeah, if you were Aguilas Umac, probably the perfect way to enter the halftime break, or not perfect way, but the ideal scenario was to score that penalty because, as you can see from the stats, other than that penalty, they had no attempts. So that penalty really was a lifeline. Again, we want to give shout outs from the chat. Thank you for joining the live stream and keep using the hashtag we are PFL. Jonas Gregorio, Popsicle, JP, El Carabao, Ciclista, Gab Costa, Ed Bull, PH Transfers, who's running a really good page, I must say, keeping up with the PFL. So shout out to you, sir, as we see the two teams get ready for the second half. And it's going to be an interesting second half because Aguilas Umac FC have to climb a mountain to get back into this game.
And speaking of those sites as well, you know, PH Transfers as well as PFL Bible, you gotta love the content that they're making as well, helping just add more value to this PFL league.
Yeah, there are quite a few content creators also covering this PFL season. I also want to give a shout out to Shoot or Something, who makes a video for every match. And also Leon Cilio, who's the dynamic Herb Cebu fan that fan reacts to their matches. And of course, there are other pages that we also want to shout out for their good work for this PFL season. And we're actually going to see, before we start the second half, there's a substitution for Aguilas being ready. That's a roll of the dice for Coach York of Aguilas, who, when you saw it there, was really disappointed by that missed penalty.
And when you think about as well the other pages, Half Space, Eat, Sleep, Breathe Football, who are part of our prediction panel for the games this week. And we definitely are a community and we'll try to bring in everyone to grow football in the Philippines. So do stay tuned Let's try to stay active and help each other out.
Again, we are a community and we'll try to bring in everyone to help grow Philippine football as we kick off this PFL season because we do want to bring that community feel. Again, we did see a substitution. It was Diallo Bubakar of Aguilas Umak coming on for Amarilla, and Amarilla, of course, on a yellow card. So you do want to keep all your 11 players on the pitch, and one way by doing that is probably taking out the player on risk, which Amarilla was because he was on a yellow card for that first half. It will be Aguilas Umak kicking from left to right in their white jerseys, and it will be one Taguig FC going the other way in their purple kits. Again, I'm your commentator, Diego Cordero, and alongside me is Natasha Alquiros Leito. We are here for the second half. It's Amita who missed the penalty to start things off. There we saw the kickoff tactic again of just launching it forward. If you're one Taguig FC, you do say that you probably will get more chances because Aguilas Umak have no choice but to chase a goal, and to do that they'll need to send bodies forward. So if you're the likes of Reichelt and Hirashi and Agyemang, there is space for you to attack.
Definitely, because now that they're on that -2, they have no choice, as you've mentioned, to keep sending more players up on top, which means they'll be more vulnerable for those counter attacks.
That's exactly what the likes of Patrick Reichelt are going to try to exploit. Again, Patrick Reichelt, 37 years young, the second top goal scorer of the Philippine men's national team. Now with Taguig, after a spell with Kuala Lumpur City, got an assist in the first half for Isaac Agyemang. Milos Kupic, the goalkeeper of Taguig, still hasn't had to make a save because the penalty was off target. Agyemang. Aldeguer, crossing opportunity for Aldeguer. Cross is not able to meet its intended target. Stephen Hum, good defending there, aggressive from the new signing. Let's not forget, if you did say that Stephen Hum was a new signing before this match, hindi halata, no? Because he has slotted in really well. Late kick out from Aldeguer, and that's on Nathaniel Hancock. Could actually hear the scream all the way here from the grandstand, so it was an obvious foul.
Coach Scott Cooper for Taguig FC will be the happier of the two squads coming into this second half. Did have a lot of new signings for this season. So far, the players have slotted in so seamlessly for Taguig. They've had an excellent start, getting the win over Cebu in their opening fixture. And so far, doing well to protect their 2-0 lead.
Just something to watch here. Aguilas Umak FC have called one of their warming up substitutes to the bench, so you do wonder if they are thinking about making another substitution. Again, they already made one during the halftime. Here's Amita. Can Aguilas finally get going? Shot from distance straight at Stephen Hum. Early cross. Stephen Hum once again. Solid from Stephen Hum.
Just the power that he brings when he does head the ball away. Make sure it's completely out of any second ball distance.
Well, that was a really good idea from Casemiro, looking for Reichelt, who's drifted out wide. Here's Reichelt down the left wing, will take on his defender one-on-one. Goes outside, steps past him, goes for the cross, and it was nearly 3 there. Aguilas escaping for now, but that's another warning. Can't give them too much space, the likes of Reichelt.
Reichelt doing really well on that right-hand side, beating his player on that 1v1, bringing him some space, cutting it back, connecting with a teammate. But Aguilas Umak defense standing strong on that challenge.
That was a foul there by David Coombe on Stephen Hung. David Kum, of course, on a yellow, so he might want to start or to stop all of those small fouls because he's playing a risky game by doing that. And there is the substitution from Aguilas. It's going to be Richard Jr. Talarok. So now Talarok, both of the Talaroks of Aguilas Umak are on the pitch.
Player number 2, Emilio Ugola, replaced by player 4, Richard Talarok Jr.
Again, Taguig in their jerseys, purple jerseys, and Aguilas in their white jerseys. I must say both jerseys look really nice. Here's Hiraishi, works the cross. It's met by an Aguilas defender, so they break away. Here's Sooma from distance. Chance is not cleared yet, eventually cleared. Shiraoka unable to catch that. It looks straight at him, but I believe that shot from Sooma was actually a knuckleball. One of the hardest type of shot to deal with if you're a goalkeeper because the ball doesn't spin, it just moves in any direction. Offside there. Good highline from Taguig.
It's also interesting from the side of Aguilas Umak FC to see the fans, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Dan Palami in the stands there. Sporting, of course, won Taguig. They made a halftime substitution, Marilia out and Diallo, and just 5 minutes into the second half, they make another substitution. Bungolan out, and in his place is Talarok.
By the way, I believe Aguilas player David Kum is slightly limping, so that's not ideal if you're Aguilas. Might need to use another substitution window. Again, you only get 3. That's too far for Muzinho, the Timor-Leste international.
A closer look at Kiki Reichelt. It's been fantastic for Taguig. A goal in the first game and an assist for this one.
And speaking of Patrick Reichelt, he did mention in his post-match interview last week that he always thought about returning to the PFL in this stage of his career, and he finally did so. And what a start he has made for his new club. Good ball movement from Taguig. Aguilas Umak chasing shadows at the moment. Will Aldeguer get to this? Well, they win the corner.
As you said, that movement, that ball movement from the side of Taguig. Able to swing it from that left side onto the right. Great chances up on top. Very cohesive from Taguig. Build-up has been spot on.
Aguilas Umak are taking a risk here by keeping 2 players near the halfway line. Again, they are the one chasing the game, so they need to be more attacking of the 2, but that might leave them a little bit vulnerable at the back, especially considering that Taguig are sending forward their taller players. All is sent in is a high one. Bit too high. Still on the Stephen Hong. Going for the scissor kick. Eventually worked away. This will be Santos. He wins the throw-in. Sato, the last man there, but that didn't faze him. Hiraishi going direct to Reichelt, unable to control that. Here's Nathaniel Hancock. That's poor from Aguilas and Taguig maybe, and again here's Agyemang looking for Reichelt, unable to reach him. Again, build up play, and all of a sudden a mistake, and Taguig are in. If you're Aguilas Umak FC, that's not the first time already that this happened tonight.
They just haven't been as sharp when it comes to their passing. game of football, game of fine margins. Error passes will be punished, and for the side of Aguilas Umak FC, the errors that they've made have turned into goals for one Taguig.
And the high press from Taguig is just squeezing Aguilas Umak. There's a mistake though. Aguilas Umak, can they work the opening? Chance maybe for a cross. Can they do anything from this? The cross is straight to Olivias.
Just not the best delivery there from Talarok. Did have the numbers building up on the attack.
The stats will show that Aguilas Umak FC haven't created much. When they did get the chance, there's sayang. Oh, a mistake from Custodio. Luckily for him, Kupis was alert because that was a loose touch. I believe Aguilas Umak have called back another substitution, so that's gonna burn another substitution window. Really not ideal. Agiemang looking for the diagonal. Late there from Agiemang, but the referee will play advantage. Here's Malik Javier. Custodio glued to him. And Agiemang getting back. There's actually an Aguilas player down here, so the referee will be forced to stop.
He does give the yellow card eventually. Just have to wait for the confirmation to who. But the reason why the referee didn't blow the whistle was because he was giving the advantage for the side of Aguilas Umak.
We've just passed over 10 minutes now in the second half. Again, for those of you who missed the first half, it was very eventful. It was an own goal by Clarino to give Taguig the lead, and then 10 minutes after that, Isaac Agiemang doubling the advantage, pouncing on a mistake by Aguilas Umak, and then Amita missing a penalty for Aguilas Umak. So that is why the scoreline is what it is. And that was the first half. Here's Reichelt down the left. Cutting inside. Looking for Casemiro. Bounce instead to Hiraishi, who takes the shot. And I think there was a deflection out for a corner. Nearly 3-0 there. As we see an Aguilas Umak substitution, that's David Coombe out for Sapal. So yet another substitution from Coach York, who's really having to make some tweaks because of the way this game is going.
Substitution for Aguilas Umak
That was a save from Shiraoka.
Replaced by
Taguig eventually getting the corner now. So there was 3 substitutions so far for Aguilas Umak FC at 3 different moments. Cuomo is out, and in his place is Sapal.
Olivias with the in-swinger. It's quite messy, and eventually we're clear. Some shouts of handball. So Oma going for the halfway effort. Long throw towards Viren. Sato with the diving header. Full throttle, body on the line from Daisuke Sato.
Now there's one thing you can rely on if Daisuke Sato is your defender, that he will put his body on the line to make sure to stop those quick counterattacks. That's one of his specialties. He's one of those players, that really plays with their heart on their sleeve. Of course, he is a player that He's had, if I'm not mistaken, 60 appearances already for the national team. Did play in Persib Bandung before coming back home to the Philippines, playing for Davao Aguilas. And now switches allegiance for Taguig.
Foul on Hiraishi.
And that was a confirmation for the yellow card earlier in that challenge. Agyemang gets the yellow card for Taguig FC.
Seeing a lot of yellow cards tonight. And we also did see 2 red cards at the same play in the first game. That's offside from Rachel. Advantage played by the referee though. Actually, no, it's brought back. I believe in the Premier League or in other European clubs, they're starting to play advantages after offside flags go up. So we'll see soon if the PFL follows suit. Strong challenge there from Olivias. Again, Olivias playing out of position as a right back, usually a winger. But he's done well tonight. High press from Taguig. Reichelt might be through here. Has to deal with Hancock. Can Reichelt work the cross? He does. Eventually it falls to an Aguilas player. They just work it clear, but no outlet. They just went long. Amita. Oh, good turn. Aguilas, can they create something from this? Oh, and attempted back heel. Sato won't mind that. Coach Jorg storms to the bench in frustration. This is an obvious yellow card. Probably the most obvious one tonight. That's Cart Talarok, now in the referee's book. Talarok.
Hasn't been the best outing actually for the Talarok brothers in this matchup.
Cart Talarok, probably just a little bit frustration there, which is why he yanked back Hiraishi. We're going to see 2 changes in a moment for Taguig, maybe after this play. Smart pass around the corner from Sooma. Strong challenge from Hancock. Maybe a chance for Aguilas to get in behind Taguig's back line. Early cross. Good goalkeeping from Kupic. He's not been that involved, but he was alert there.
Very brave goalkeeping from him.
Good touch by Amita. Early cross is played in. Open goal perhaps. Shot. Good save. It's Kelondo. Amita. And then it goes out for, I think that's a goal kick. Well, Milos Kupic in the last minute or so having to get involved to preserve the clean sheet of Taguig, and he does well there, the Serbian goalkeeper.
Double save from him, spot on with the punch out. Tries to get back in position before he makes another save with the legs. As you've mentioned, preserving the lead and the clean sheet so far for the side of Taguig.
Going to see 2 changes here for Taguig. It's going to be Hamed Hajimedi, the PFL veteran, coming on, as well as number 23, Abdul Yusuf, of our Casemiro and Isaac Agyemang. I did mention Taguig, they play Manila Digger next, so maybe a little bit of rotation.
And not just that, of course, Casemiro and Agyemang, your 2 attacking midfielders, both racked up a yellow card each. You're leading 2-0 against Aguilas Umak FC, and you want to make sure that these players don't get another yellow card, lose their lead for this game, and lose that advantage coming into their next games. So Casemiro out, and in his place is Yusuf, and Agyemang is out, one of the goal scorers, and in his place would be Hajimadi.
Smart changes there if you're Coach Scott Cooper. Again, don't want to go down to 10 men, especially against a top 6 rival, especially because their next game is also against another direct rival for the title race. Then if you're Coach Scott Cooper, you also think about rotation. Just making sure here, but Milos Kupic went down. He looks fine though. So play will resume after this temporary water break. Reichelt not the tallest, but winning that aerial duel. Here's Cart Talarok. Swarmed by one Taguig players. I think that just says the intensity levels of one Taguig have been immense tonight. Oh, good play from Hiraishi. Escapes his man. And he will force another yellow card. That's number 8. That's Sapal, the substitute, with the yellow card. Good play from Hiraishi to escape the pressure.
That was very smart work from Hiraishi. Just maneuvering his body in a way, being able to turn around, escape the pressure, and attract the yellow card.
Again, 66 minutes now on the clock. Still goalless if you're Aguilas Umak FC. Not ideal, especially having a penalty and being unable to take it. That's straight to Kupic, so that will not help their case. They're calling yet another substitution from their warm-up area. So it looks like another roll of the dice from Coach York. I believe this is their last substitution window. So any substitution now will be their last. Mita. Good footwork, but was eventually forced out by Sooma.
With this revamped Aguilas Umak FC team, you could tell that the cohesion just hasn't been there yet. Still very much in the build-up stage for them. Haven't really had that flying start that they would have liked to have in this season.
Hamed going direct to Reichelt. Reichelt timing his run. He's onside here. He's up against 2 defenders. Eventually it bounces to the goalkeeper, but Reichelt showing their space in behind. He is 37, but he still has that acceleration. Oh, that's a loose touch. Shots of handball from the Taguig bench, not heard by the referee.
And you also have to love that nowadays. So 2 yellow cards for one Taguig and 6 so far for Aguilas Umak FC. And as I was mentioning earlier, that players now are playing and having longer careers. Even look at the top level with Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. And it trickles all the way down. And it has a lot to do as well with the science behind everything as well.
Not just Patrick Reichelt showing that, but also there in the middle of the pitch, we have Hamed doing the same.
So you have Hamed, Reichelt, Doctora, Rota, Schrock.
Shot on target there from, I think that was Cart Talarok, but again, Kupic might take more to beat him from that sort of range. And the referee is actually, if you look at the referee, he's counting from 1 to 8. I think this is a new rule also in football that goalkeepers cannot hold the ball for more than 8 seconds. think I saw it in a Premier League game once. But if the goalkeeper holds it for 8 seconds, they actually concede possession. The onus is now on Aguilas Umak FC. Only 20 minutes now. Time is running out for them if they want to get anything from this matchup, because it's not going to be ideal if you start the season 0 out of 6 points. Again, their next game is against, I think it's Philippine Army, so that is a favorable result, but you'll already be playing catch up if that's the case. But what about the start of One Taguig to this season? Up against two rivals, and at the moment, it's going to be 2 wins. Custodio with the long throw. Didn't know he had that in his locker. Ahmed. Eventually, One Taguig work it clear. He's looking for Reichelt. He's going to reach Yusuf. Yusuf has Reichelt with him. Looking like One Taguig will ready another substitution. Looks like it's number 92, Mahmoud Ali, to come on in the next break of play. We heard Reichelt screaming there, but there's a chance here for One Taguig. It was Hamed, but he was unable to make a cleaner contact. Reichelt was asking for a foul there, but the referee not having any of it. He is back up on his feet, so he is fit to continue. And I did mention it was Aguilas Umak's last substitution window, which is why they're going to make more than one. Hearing it's going to be Olibias to make way for One Taguig.
It looks like it's going to be Kurt Dizon coming on.
Shot taken, it's out for a corner. And that allows for this flurry of substitutions. Again, this is the last window of substitutions for Aguilas Umak. And just out of your screen, Oli Diaz has gone down, and he is one of the ones going out. So you do wonder if this is more injury related rather than tactics.
And it looks like it's Charles Pickering and Yamamoto. Kira Yamamoto for the side of Aguilas Umak FC. So 2 substitutions each.
Substitution by One Taguig FC. Player 66.
Daisuke Sato, who will be given a rest.
Player 19.
Again, 2 good performances from Sato. First against Cebu, and now against Aguilas Umak. Again, their next fixture is against Manila Diggers, so they might want to be thinking about that match also. And they might want to rotate their players evenly. For Aguilas naman, it's Palpalato going off for number 21, that's, or rather number 7, that's Charles Pickering. And finally, Olibias makes his way out
Substitution by One Taguig FC.
for Ali Mahmoud.
Player 21. Oliver Bias. Replaced by player 92. Mahmoud Ali.
Corner for Aguilas. Met by an Aguilas head. Custodio puts it out. Or rather, it was kept in by Kupic, so they escape that corner kick.
So 2 substitutions each. Dizon and Ali come in for one Taguig, and Yamamoto and Pickering make their way for Aguilas Umak FC. 74 minutes in, and one Taguig still with the lead 2-0 against Aguilas Umak.
Ahmed finding Aldeguer. Loose touch. Here is Aldeguer. Down the right. Ahmed. Hiraishi. Hiraishi fouled by Nano Amita. Again, Nano Amita already on yellow also. So he is playing a very risky game by fouling his former teammate. Free kick to one Taguig. It will be Hamed to take this quite a distance away from goal, so you imagine it would be a cross towards one of their aerial targets. They've not sent up Stephen Halm this time. Again, they are already 2 to the good, so they don't need to send too many bodies forward. Kurt Dizon is in acres of space on the left. It's sent in, Reichel! Saved by Shiraoka.
That was a great set piece delivery from Hamed Hajimadi, finding Patrick Reichel, forcing a big save from Shiraoka.
Reichel already with 1 assist tonight, nearly got his goal there. Still has 10 or 15 minutes to do so. Hamed with the in-swinging corner, met by Hancock. Ali sends it back in, turns into a pass. Here's Hamed. Custodio. Back to Hamed. They don't need to rush it. Went for the nutmeg, didn't work out in the end. And ball is back with Aguilas Umak.
They want to kick so quickly to transition back into the defensive formation. They know that they aren't through just yet. Nothing is final until that final whistle. And if we've learned anything from the recent PFL games, is that anything can still happen. 15 minutes, a lot of time.
Again, yesterday, we saw a very, very late game-winning goal from Rico Andes for Cebu to beat Stallion Laguna FC. So the game never finishes until the final whistle. And we were reminded of that yesterday with that goal from Andes. Time running out if you're an Aguilas Umak FC fan. For one Taguig, it's the last stages of the game for you to hold on. Reichel keeping possession. Kurt Dizon, fresh legs for one Taguig. Smart pirouette there from Reichel. Hiraishi skips past his defender. Hiraishi's really good at that. Very agile, knows when to commit a defender and then all of a sudden changes direction.
So such a shifty player, and great to have in the arsenal of this for the side of one Taguig. He's a player that really attracts the fouls, wins set piece opportunities for the side of one Taguig FC.
Reichel. Advantage played. Oh, great footwork from Hamed. Again, he is a futsal player, so he does have that close control. Pulling out all the tricks there. Here is Hamed again. Will we see more of that footwork? This time it's out for goal kick.
A player, of course, that loves to attract that 1v1, that relishes in those moments.
you mentioned it earlier, but there we saw it again. It's one Taguig who are so eager to get back in numbers quickly. That's the important thing. So they're keeping that intensity even though there's only 10 minutes left. That's why they're still keeping that clean sheet tonight. And look how tight Stephen Hom is to his attacker. He concedes the corner in the end, but the intensity was there from the center back.
So one Taguig so far, most especially in the first 80 minutes of this game, have been fluid on the attack and organized defensively. Very responsible to go back down to complete their defensive duties in numbers.
Bart Talarok will take this with his left foot, which is interesting. I thought he was right-footed. It's a good delivery met by Stephen Halm. No surprise. There's Talarok again. Right foot this time. Cleared by Reichelt. Doing defensive work this time. Attempted long shot there. Doesn't pay off. And this could be trouble. Goalkeeper is out of his line. Here's Hamed. There was a foul, but referee plays advantage. Here's Hamed. Oh, good footwork from Hamed. Here's Sooma. Looks really tired because of all the effort he's put in so far. So I don't think he's going to force the cross. More footwork from Hamed. Eventually it's work clear. You can hear the reactions of the crowd whenever Hamed does anything.
That was great work from Kurt Dizon to win back possession for the side of one Taguig. An aspect of their game that they've been doing really well is to quickly win back possession for one Taguig.
Tactical masterclass so far from Coach Scott Cooper. Taguig just so easily playing around and through Aguilas at the moment. Here's Kurt Dizon forcing the one-on-one. Works the shot, I think. Eventually it's skied, but it was a bit easy for Kurt Dizon just to work a shooting angle there if you're an Aguilas defender.
As we talked about Aguilas Umak FC, they're a team that play very direct, very quick in transition. But one Taguig have studied them well. They make sure to go back down in numbers. And defensively, the players in the back doing really well to stop those quick attacks.
Again, you might forget that one Taguig are just a 3-year-old club, and that's because of the way they've established themselves in the PFL in their first season in the 2024 transition year. They finished 5th. Oh, that's trouble from Hancock. Here's Hamed. Hiraishi, no offside. Hiraishi saved by Shiraoka. But if you're Aguilas Umak FC, that all came from your build-up.
That was world-class goalkeeping from Shiraoka. Point-blank save, comes out big, makes sure the deficit is still small. Gets a foot to it.
By the way, out of your screen, there was Patrick Reichelt shouting something to the Aguilas bench. I think that's why he picks up a yellow card. Not too sure what happened there. I saw him talking to the Aguilas bench. So clearly he said something. It will be Hamed with the corner. Hamed with the delivery straight into Shiraoka. And look at this, one Taguig players sprinting back, and the intensity is still there. And they've now settled into that compact shape, so the window of opportunity for the counter is gone. And look at that drop of the shoulder from center back Stephen Holm. Reichelt loses possession. Ball in behind. No offside flag. Oh, there is one eventually. So nothing from that play would have counted.
And if you are the coach of one Taguig, be very happy with how your players are performing on the pitch, most especially in their small pockets of responsibility. So every player in their small pocket, whether it's their 1v1s, have been doing really well to help win possession and to create chances for the side of Taguig.
Ball in behind here for Aguilas Umak. But it's really just uphill battle for all their strikers because they're outnumbered. And numbers, strength in numbers, as they say. And as I was saying, Taguig in their third PFL season, you do say that so far in these opening two matches, they've made a really good start. And here's Patrick Reichelt up against his defender. Reichelt might have overrun it in the end and commits the foul, but the referee will play advantage. Here's Amita. Malik Javier up against Custodio. Again, Taguig running back in numbers. Patrick Reichel out of your screen having cramps. Cross is worked in. It's met by Stephen Hum. Stephen Hum's been doing that all night. You do say if they do get a clean sheet, he will play a massive part in that.
From your defenders, that is one of his strengths. His heading capacity, the defensive headers, to either send it long and out or to just usher it further away from the goal frame.
Well, as things stand, it's going to be 6 points from a possible 6 for Taguig against Cebu and Aguilas Umak, no less, which is a statement to their direct rivals.
You think the teams like Kaya FC Iloilo, who barely got out of a match against Aguilas Umak FC and Taguig at the moment, making it look so easy.
And so far in this league, it's Kaya and looking like Taguig who have had the perfect starts. I will make my all too early and immature title race prediction that Taguig will definitely be in the mix for that.
But teams definitely build on momentum, so Taguig in the right track. The league is won by winning the small games.
This could be trouble for Hancock. Yellow card in the end. Hamed and Reichelt are making the point, and so is the Taguig bench, that it was the last man who made the tackle. So if he doesn't make that tackle, then Yusuf is through on goal. And not only that, it was a high boot. So there was definitely a case to be made for a red card there. Here's the replay. Definitely the last man. I think what might just slightly save him there is the fact that he got a little bit on the ball, but Taguig bench and along with their players making the case that it was deserving of a red.
And if you just watch the match earlier today, you've seen red cards be given for less.
By the way, Reichelt is exchanging words with the fourth official. I think it was about that earlier conversation he had with the Aguilas bench. So I'm not too sure what was said for Reichelt to be this incensed. Again, it did get him that yellow card. Stephen Halm also talking to the Aguilas bench. I wonder what was said between the two sides there.
Reichelt now with the captain's armband. Definitely a player with so much experience under his belt. And bringing it here for Taguig. As you all know, he has played for Ceres Negros for quite a number of years, 2014 to 2019, especially during their golden days, for making his way to Thailand and Malaysia.
We're about to find out how much stoppage time will be added. But for now, it's looking like it's the 3 points plus the clean sheet for one Taguig FC, which is against the top 6 rival, the perfect night.
Time definitely not on the side of Umak Aguilas.
Here's Reichelt, opting not to cross. Hiraishi, binalik kay Sooma. Hiraishi, good acceleration. Reichelt, good strength. And Hamed opting to go backwards. And I think Kupic will just clear this one. Not the best clearance. Aguilas unable to build anything. I think that's been the story of their night. 4 minutes of additional time.
There will be a minimum of 4 minutes of additional time.
Well, it's 4 minutes away from the perfect start to the season from one Taguig. Next week, they will be up against Manila Digger. And what an encounter that's going to be. We'll definitely be discussing that in our midweek football show. So do tune in to the Minsan Football Show this Wednesday, where we talk all things PFL. Those of you who have been tuning into the live streams early on might have already seen clips from that show being played. We will go live on Wednesday. And we'll go live on every Wednesday where there's a match on the weekend. So the only times where we won't be live are when there's an international break. Stephen Hom, I think Reichel's been playing as a left back for the past 10 minutes because of his fatigue. Hiraishi. It's a dejected feel about Aguilas at the moment.
Coming from a loss against KFC Iloilo. And if they lose again, it's back-to-back losses for the side of Aguilas.
0 points from 6 is not ideal in big games like this. Can they get something at the end? It's Hamed tracking back all the way to make sure that for now the clean sheet is preserved. If anything's going to happen from this game for Aguilas Umak, they have to take advantage of this corner. And even then, it might be a little bit too little, too late.
Time is trickling down. And to at least get a goal. Because so far, no goals yet for the side of Aguilas Umak FC. Definitely something to try to build on if they can get a goal in this matchup.
Ball will be sent in via an outswinger met by Taguig head, so they survive this set piece. 2 minutes to go now till the full-time whistle. One Taguig have remained compact the whole match.
And Reichelt with the defensive header duties. Close to just a minute away from getting another win under their belt.
Hiraishi, Aldeguer is alone in the far post. Andres Aldeguer, open goal, penalty. Well, we're going to have our second penalty of this matchup in the last. This is probably going to be the last play. Aldeguer winning the penalty, committing Shiraoka to that challenge. Clear penalty. I don't think there's any debate. It's a guilty look from Shiraoka following that collision.
And he picks up a yellow card as well. And there's one thing Aguilas Umak FC have done is racked up the yellow cards for their team.
I wonder who's
My
going to...
count, it's around 7 or 8 already for the side of Aguilas.
That is a lot for one game, I must say. It's going to be Patrick Reichelt, so he might still end this day with a goal, and that would put him as a contender for man of the match for sure. It's an assist already to his name. He gave that pass to Agiemang in the first half, which was a goal. And he's going to have a penalty here. We saw in the first half in the same penalty spot, Amita missed his panenka. If Reichelt were cheeky enough, maybe he'd go for his own panenka. But I don't know. Either way, it's going to be him taking the spot kick, the captain at the moment for one Taguig. And whatever the case happens here, it was the perfect performance from one Taguig in general.
And this will most probably be the last play for this match. So one Taguig already securing the win. Can they make it even sweeter?
Patrick Reichelt. Oh, and he made that so easy, slotting it into the corner, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way, and it's a perfect night out for one Taguig FC. Reichelt with another goal in the PFL.
So 2 games, 2 goals for Patrick Reichelt. A wonderful signing for one Taguig.
Goal by one Taguig FC.
Just putting that cherry on top of a fantastic performance in this matchup against Aguilas Umak FC.
Look at that stutter step. I think that stutter step just committed the goalkeeper, and he slots it the other way. Again, this penalty might have been a little bit of a non-bearing penalty in terms of the actual result, but who cares? It's a goal for Patrick Reichelt. And for the second week in a row, he gets on the score sheet. And that might be that for this game.
So for Reichelt, an assist and a goal to his name in this matchup.
Well, he was named man of the match last week. It's definitely a contender again. I'd say
But a lot of outstanding performances so far in this match for the players of one Taguig.
yeah, I was going to say just that. There, one of them, Stephen Halm, definitely another contender. Even though he didn't get any attacking output, he was rock solid tonight. And there you have it. It is full time here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. One Taguig FC with another statement performance, beating Aguilas Umak FC 3-0. The goals coming from an own goal from Clarino, Agiemang, and right at the death of the match, Patrick Reichelt.
Fantastic performance all around the park for one Taguig FC. And Coach Scott Cooper will definitely be the happier coach with the performance that his team has shown. And as you said, if they continue on this fantastic momentum, they are on track to becoming title contenders. 2 big games, 2 big results, maximum points. And this time around with a clean sheet as well.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here were the second half highlights. It was still one Taguig who dominated, despite the fact that it was Aguilas who needed a goal. There were chances on occasions. Kupich actually rising to the occasions when needed. But yeah, it was a really solid defensive display from one Taguig, unable for Aguilas to concede, to penetrate them rather. Reichelt nearly getting his first goal there. Couldn't. Eventually, one Taguig just kept knocking on the door for that third goal. There was the same on Hiraishi. Here was the penalty win from Aldeguer. And here was the cherry on top, as you said, from Patrick Reichelt.
And what a way to end the night for one Taguig FC and to close down a fantastic PFL football weekend. 3-0 in favor of one Taguig FC. They get the 3 points, they get the clean sheet, and they get that momentum coming into next weekend's matchup.
And this result actually also concludes match week 3 of the 2025 to 2026 PFL season. A lot of goals, a lot of good results, and a lot of concerning results for certain teams. But what a performance it was from one Taguig on the night. Again, I was your commentator for tonight, Diego Cordero, and alongside me was Natasha Alquiros Dato. Be back again next week for more PFL action.
Schedule is
やこの前の試合監督にめちゃくちゃ怒られてたから、もう
Okay, okay, まあまあ。
Can you please come
Okay.
closer?
この前の試合、監督に怒られたんで、ちょっともう次ないぐらいの気持ちでやりました。
He wasn't really pleased with his performance last game, so he wanted to give the best today. And then coach was not happy with his performance as well, so he had a pressure on this game today, but he is happy that he gets 3 points and a good performance.